Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the NBA Front Office Show, day one of free agency. My, oh my, this league, NBA offseason greater than sign any other offseason in professional sports. What a day. We've got so much to talk about today. Buckle up because it's going to take a little while. And who knows, we might have some breaking news while we are live doing this show. So all kinds of stuff to dive into. I'm Trevor Lane. You can find me on Twitter at Trevor_Lane, joined by Keith Smith at Keith Smith NBA. Keith, I am so fired up. The NBA offseason, it delivered in a big, big way today.
Yeah, absolutely. About what was it, 3 hours or so before it was all due to kick off fully, we hear Kevin Durant wants a trade,
Oh,
and and nothing's even happened with that yet. It's
no.
just Kevin Durant wants a trade, but nothing's gone on yet. But we have had, I believe, at last count, 40 new deals between new deals and extensions agreed to for over $1.5 billion of new money, set up in the NBA. That's right. Yes,
$1.5 billion.
Yeah, so we're off and running here in free agency. I mean,
Mhm.
your team's basically done. they
To an extent.
filled,
There
might be some
may be
trade.
something else coming there.
But
There might
they
be.
filled out their roster,
Yeah.
and you used up their stuff. So we'll get into all that. We're gonna break it down. We're gonna go small screen with the two of us
Yep.
for a little bit and pull up some of the deals and go through and try to catch as many as we can. We probably won't break down every one of the 40 deals,
No,
but
that would take
if
a while.
you know front office show, we'll probably talk 38 of them at least or so.
Rough.
But yeah. So I'm ready when you are, my friend.
There it is. There it is.
There
So
it
here's
is.
what we've got. Courtesy of Spot
Courtesy of
Track, we
Spot Track.
have
Yep.
every deal that's gone down. This is listed by team, by the team that is getting the player. So I guess let's start at the top with the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, the team that had the biggest news today. I'm hoping they had the unlimited plan for anyone in their front office's cell phones because those were blowing up all day long
Right.
with the Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving news. I thought it was interesting, though. I mean, we saw them make the Royce O'Neal trade, trading a future first to get him. They go and they re-sign Patty Mills, who's 34 years old almost. You do the Nick Claxton deal. This is a team that's not behaving as though they're going to tear it down anytime soon, regardless of what KD and Kyrie are up to.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I don't think they can tear it down, right?
Yeah.
They're in a position where all of their first round picks are owed to the Houston Rockets for the most part. So the trading a pick for Royce O'Neal is a little weird.
Yeah.
Royce O'Neal, that deal is already done and official too. That one is complete. That got done in the current league year. We're in a little bit of a weird point here where there's still about 2 hours left in this current league year, before
Right.
this one's over. So it's just a little odd, but yeah, what's happening with that deal is he went into the James Harden trade exception that they had. I don't know that I would have given up a first in that situation. I don't think
Yeah.
that was maybe the best deal, but it is what it is. Yeah, we'll see how that all comes together later for the Nets. But yeah, I mean, this is a team that we got reporting throughout the course of the night, that afternoon, night, whatever it was, that if the Nets trade Kevin Durant, they're going to trade him for players, not just picks and all that. They want to push things forward.
What did you think in terms of and that does inform us of what they're going to be looking for in a
Mhm.
deal. What are your thoughts on Patty Mills? I mean, we were surprised that he opted out of 6.2 million. Then we found out why, because he got another deal with the Nets.
Yeah.
This was early bird? No,
No,
non-bird.
non-bird. Yep,
Non-bird.
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 Yep.
He's only 1 year. Non-bird for Patty Mills. What are your thoughts on the dollar amount here? 7.2 million for Patty Mills. Do you like the value there?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's 7.25 a year, so it's 14.5
Yeah, that's what I
total
mean.
over the
Per
2
year.
years. Yeah, and let's be clear too that the numbers you're seeing on the screen, this is from Spot Track's free agent tracker.
Mhm.
All of these are the estimates because we don't know anything official because none of these have gone official yet, and they won't go official until July 6th. So anyway, I don't know. I mean, if you go back and look at his numbers, he had one of his best years ever last year, but he very, very clearly wore down
Yeah.
as the season went along. He played way too much, mostly because Kyrie was out. But my guess is this is the idea of there's two parts to this. I think the first part is a little bit of stability at the guard position in case Kyrie is traded. Second part is Patty Mills knows Ben Simmons from both being Australians. And I think that's
Good
going to
point.
factor in a little bit too of, hey, let's have him here to kind of help Ben Simmons transition back onto the court into being a productive member of the team. So that's where I think that's going.
That makes a lot more sense. I did not think about that connection. Patty Mills, by having him on your team, you don't only get the effect on the floor, but also maybe you get a better Ben Simmons or a more productive Ben Simmons because of him being there. Great point there. Nick Claxton gets 2 years, 20 million, 10 million
great.
per. Yeah, that's, I mean, 23-year-old big that can do a lot of things. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Before we leave the Nets, KD to Phoenix? Is that, I mean, it feels like there's complications there though with DeAndre Ayton and base year, in addition to the rumors that the Nets don't really want Ayton. So where does KD wind up?
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm not trying to ride the fence or anything or cop out on giving an answer. I just really don't know. It's going to be, something we'll be monitoring. I'll be completely honest. My hope is we're not getting a 3:00 in the morning tweet that he's, been traded, because that's just not where I want to be. I'd like to get a little bit of sleep tonight.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure the Phoenix stuff. Yeah. So the DeAndre Ayton complications, because it is front office show, we like to educate here, is there's base year compensation that goes into it. Basically means $30 million coming in on the net side, but he only counts as 15 million going out on the Sun side. So there's a lot of things that would have to be done to rebalance the salaries on that. And it just doesn't necessarily work very easily. So that becomes a major challenge to sending him to the Nets. Another complication is the Nets would then become hard capped. So if they're adding a bunch of money, that becomes hard to work around. So there's just a lot of issues there. With that one. But I do think the reporting is he wants the Nets. He also, there was a report he really wants the Heat. That's a little weird too, because I don't know how the Heat get there. There's complications because of having Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons was a designated rookie extension. You can only acquire one player like that on your roster via trade. So they can't necessarily go and get a second one. So no Bam, no Devin Booker. I believe Bobby Marks tweeted out a whole long list of players. So there's a whole bunch of guys. So yeah, there's a lot of complications of making this work, which is probably why, 7 or so hours after we first heard about it, there's been really no movement, because this is not clearly an easy one to pull off.
No, and regardless, here's the thing: 4 years under contract. I mean, we've heard KD wants the Suns or the Heat. It might not matter. Look, 29 teams are checking in with the Nets to see if they've got something that the Nets want. That's just reality, and KD may not have much of a say in where he goes. That could be the case here. Kyrie, on the other hand, 1 year under contract, and he's Kyrie.
Yeah.
I think a lot of teams don't want Kyrie.
Sure.
They don't want an unhappy Kyrie.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you've got to be a little more cautious with that one, unless you're just kind of saying, hey, we're going to load up to make a run and we don't really care. One thing too with the KD, just because I want to add to your thought on that one, is KD is, as much as he wants to trade, you're absolutely right. The Nets are under no obligation. He's kind of in some ways leaving them high and dry. So why even bother? Like, it's go get the best deal for you. This is not necessarily a situation. And a lot of times you'll hear Trevor, I repeat on this show pretty regularly, you don't want to make an enemy of the agency. KD's a one-of-one player client. So it's not a thing there. There's no real agency to make angry in this situation. So yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, guys, you're not gonna fool us and say Woj tweeted. We're not morons. We have our notifications on.
Yeah.
We'll see it. So good luck with that, fellas.
We'll leave it on this. KD and Kyrie, their experience with the Brooklyn Nets, their time with Brooklyn, they came, they saw, they bailed.
Yeah.
I mean, Nets fans can't be too pleased. I mean, played less than half the games for the team.
Yep.
and now they're both bouncing after, from all accounts, the team basically handed over the keys to them and said, "Here you go."
Yeah.
What are the ramifications going to be of this? Number one, in terms of the player empowerment era, because again, lots of reporting that KD and Kyrie had all the power.
Yep.
And then number two, what does all this mean for the next CBA when owners get together and are talking about now multiple players with 4 years left on their contracts asking out?
Yeah, that's the very complicated thing. I think that may be one of the bigger arguments in the next CBA discussion, maybe around the idea of what do we do here with this? These guys sign these contracts, and in Kevin Durant's case, he hasn't even started this new extension. It actually starts this year. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm done.
Right.
I'm ready to go." So that becomes really just that's going to have to be a discussion point. Teams are going to want some form of restrictions, protections, something to keep themselves in a good place with this. So yeah, I don't know with that. So let's see. Well, don't play the breaking news. It's not big enough. I don't think either one of us likes the player all that much. Andre Drummond finalizing a deal with the Chicago Bulls.
Okay. I mean, the Bulls were looking for size, so I get it. I don't. Sure. That's not the size they were looking for, but
yep,
he's a big. Okay.
This is not the size you're looking for. I might have watched a little Star Wars earlier.
We had a lot to say, obviously, on the Nets. But
yes,
let's move forward with our signings. JaVale McGee to the Mavs gets a 3-year deal. What is this here? Is this a taxpayer mid-level?
Yep.
What are they using here?
Yep, you're on it.
At 6.8.
It's gonna be the bulk of the taxpayer mid-level. What they're gonna do?
It averages it. I got it.
Yeah, so what they're going to do is that's the average on the side. Yep. Some of the spot track tools are built a little bit better for the NFL and MLB, where average tends to be a little bit more of a structure there.
Right.
But in this case, McGee's going to get the bulk of the taxpayer MLE, and then what's going to happen they're going to leave just enough left over to give Jaden Hardy a longer deal than the 2 years allowed by the minimum. We'll get into the Lakers aren't doing that, and we'll get into that in a minute.
They aren't doing that. That's 3 times in a row now that they have declined to do that, which is that's a whole conversation.
We'll get into that whole thing in just a bit. But yeah, so they're going to leave a little bit to sign Jaden Hardy to longer deal. My guess is probably it will be a 3-year deal because the taxpayer mid-level limits you to 3 years. But what my thought is what will happen is it'll probably be a 2-year deal with a team option on the 3rd year, so they don't get caught in a Jalen Brunson situation if Jaden Hardy blows up.
Right. That makes sense. Okay. Davon Reed.
Yep.
Okay.
2 years at the minimum.
DeAndre Jordan. Why?
Yeah.
Why did this? Wouldn't they have just been better off sticking with Boogie Cousins?
Yeah, I would have. 100%. Yep. Yeah, I would 100% have stayed with Cousins. Yep.
It's just that baffles me. But in any event, veteran minimum deal for DeAndre Jordan. Marvin Bagley sticking with Detroit. What do you? I mean, $37 million over 3 years. I mean, I guess resuscitated his career to a degree with the Pistons. I mean, this is the Pistons basically got a second draft player, a guy who wasn't, fitting with the Kings. They were able to pick him up, and now here he is. He's got a big money deal. What do you like the value here for Marvin Bagley and the Pistons?
Yeah,
I feel it's a little high, honestly.
Yeah, it feels a little high for sure. I don't know who they were bidding against, so that part I don't really get. So I think that's a tricky thing to go through. I that's always a little hard, but if you believe that he can really pop and develop into something, then sure, why not? I mean, it's at this point, it sounds snarky to say it this way, but it's only money for Detroit, and they've got plenty of it. So why not give out some of it to Bagley? I bet the last year on this is either non-guaranteed or a team option, just so that they're protected off of that, just in case he doesn't do anything else. But he was pretty good for them, so I don't hate the idea.
And then you've got Kevin Knox landing there with Detroit.
This is a really good flyer. I think.
I mean, why
this
not?
is what you should do, right? When you're a rebuilding team. Yeah, sure. If he plays
give it a shot.
Good. Yep. If he doesn't, then you cut him and you move on.
Jayshawn Tate, we knew this was already happening because they declined his option so that they could make him restricted. And now he's sticking with the Houston Rockets, $22 million over 3 years here for Jayshawn Tate. I mean, a player who's, I didn't expect that he's a little bit older than I thought, 26, almost 27.
Yeah, because he played overseas before coming to the NBA.
But this is a guy who played pretty well for them. So I don't mind this for Houston. Houston, by the way, for as much as we talk about where's KD going, where's Kyrie going, who signed where, the biggest winner of the day is the Houston Rockets. No question. You look at how many picks they've got from Brooklyn. They've got they have all their picks and picks.
I was like, where are you going with this? I like Jason Tate too, but that's bombastic.
No,
but yes, now I'm sorry. Finish your point because now you're making a good one.
They've got a pick swap or an unprotected pick every year between now and 2027 from the Brooklyn Nets.
Yep.
That suddenly looks amazing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is it's they're really set up well. They're building something there in Houston. John Wall officially cleared waivers today too. Just a minor thing there that we all knew was going to happen because no one had the ability to claim him anyway. But yeah, I like the Jayshawn Tate deal. I love all their young kids. But yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Clippers did work both with their extensions that they already did, and then supposedly we'll see, landing John Wall. And then they bring back Nicholas Batum and Amir Coffey. Batum getting 11 million, so slightly more than a MLE, but I mean, this is the going rate for wings right now. Solid deal for him. He's been really good. 33 years old, getting up there a little bit, but you know what? Again, wings, supply and demand in the NBA right now. And then Amir Coffey, they found something with him last season. Good to see him back and getting some long-term security with an $11 million deal.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan anytime somebody earns their way off the two-way and into a bigger deal. And that's exactly what Coffey did. We don't have John Wall on there yet because he's got to clear waivers because otherwise it messes up the system. So, but we also know he'll join, and then Ivica Zubac on the 3-year extension. So, good work all around, I think, by the Clippers here to retain their own.
They have had a fantastic offseason, I think, so far.
Moving on if you go back to just, I don't want to spend a ton of time on it because we've already talked it in depth, but if you go back even to the trade deadline all the way through, right? Just, adding, pieces, guys that can really, really play, a lot of depth. Ty Lue has his work cut out for him to keep everybody happy minutes wise, but
they have more guys than they have minutes.
Sure. That part's going to get a little tricky.
My Lakers were busy. Lonnie Walker gets the taxpayer mid-level, gets the full taxpayer mid-level, which meant they didn't have any left over to give to Max Christie to give him perhaps a 3-year deal, which again is 3 players in a row that they have done that with. Taylor Horton-Tucker, Austin Reeves, and now Max Christie as well. Missed opportunities there potentially if those players were willing to sign those deals. So they get Lonnie Walker, Damian Jones, Troy Brown, Juan Toscano, Anderson. Now, all of these essentially 1-year deals. Damian Jones has a 2nd-year player option. My sense was
it's a player option?
Yeah. That's what it was reported as.
That's interesting.
It was a player option for year 2, but it's a minimum deal.
Yeah, it's a minimum deal, but still, it's just a little interesting. Okay.
So my sense was the Lakers were indeed targeting wings. They wanted to bring back Malik Monk, but he got a deal with the Kings. We'll get to that in a minute. They realized that they were priced out on pretty much all the wings on the market. And so they went and they found guys that were younger, a little bit more athletic. There's questions here about shooting. Dave McMenamin says they're confident that they're going to find more shooting on the trade market. So we'll see. Sounds like there's some other stuff that they're working on. And they found guys who would take essentially 1-year deals in order to preserve that future flexibility that they've got. They've got all the cap space for 2023, which is Anthony Davis and Taylor Horton Tucker as of right now under contract. So they've saved some future flexibility, but not checked the boxes in terms of a big switchy wing. Just did not find that here. And then also the shooting, all the guys pretty much are questionable shooters right now, or at least average shooters. Nobody that's a true sniper here.
Yeah, and then to factor in too, picked up the options for Wenyan Gabriel and Stanley Johnson in the last couple of days too. So yeah, I think by no means am I saying they're covered on the wing, because there's definitely room for improvement there.
Absolutely.
But there's a lot of different options that you can try. There's at various times I've been convinced Troy Brown Jr. was just on the verge of breaking out, and we're gonna be really good. And then there's other times where I'm like, this dude's like a week from being out of the league. That's the kind of the challenge right there. These numbers too, just so we're all on the same page, these numbers that you're seeing here, these are the actual salary amounts. These cap hits will be slightly lower. Those will be reflected on the team salary pages on Spot Track when we update the team salary pages. So you'll see that there then. But in this case, so the big one's Lonnie Walker.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen them get him to take slightly less to be able to give Max Christie a 3 or 4 year deal. That would have been ideal, but I don't want to do it as much as like losing him over that. That's not worth it to me, in that situation. So this is not one where you're going to freak out over, all right, well, couldn't give Max Christie more than a 2 year deal. You can work things out. There's ways to make that work. They'll probably give him an option on the second year that they can decline, then make him restricted, make it a longer deal the next time around. And they'll figure out a way to do that. But I like Lonnie Walker for them. I think kind of nice to have another on-ball creator, a guy who can really go get a bucket, especially on that second unit. It felt like so many times for the Lakers last year, the second unit just fell apart. Once the main guys were out there, they couldn't score at all. So I think having Walker there is good for that. I think Juan Toscano-Anderson is a fantastic signing. I think he's your big switchy wing. I think he is going to play a ton for this team. And I think by the end of the year, he's probably the top wing coming off the bench, if not starting. I mean, let's see.
He might.
Trades, we don't know, but
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that as well. 6'6" for Juan Toscano-Anderson. So he can certainly do that. Lonnie Walker, a lot of people were underwhelmed because we've been talking about Otto Porter Jr., we've been talking about TJ Warren and the Martin twins, all these guys. But 30 teams are talking about those guys. Every team is talking about what wings they can get. So in lieu of being able to get those guys, and and I also want to mention this, in lieu of being able to get those guys, this is fine. Some people were seeing this as, why did you pick Lonnie Walker over Malik Monk? That's not what happened.
Nope.
The Lakers offered Malik Monk what they could. He got a bigger offer from Sacramento.
Yep.
And that's when then they pivoted to, it was Monk's choice. Then they pivoted to Lonnie Walker.
And I think we all had a really good feeling that could be how that played out.
Absolutely.
Right. It was just, and if you think about it from Malik Monk's standpoint, is this guy hasn't made a lot of money yet. So of course he wants to cash in on, his best year.
Oh, don't fault him at all.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. I like the Damian Jones signing.
Yes.
I think
that was my favorite. He's my guy.
Yeah, I think people sleep on him a little bit. I think he's a little bit better than what people think he may be. So yeah, I wouldn't plan the parade.
No, of course not.
With very, very limited resources, in terms of roster spots and everything else, I would go, to this and say, yeah, this was okay. It's not there, and let's see what else happens. The rest of the summer. I think I would try to bring back Carmelo. Like I think he still fits there, pretty good, and he had a pretty solid year off the bench as a scorer. So I might look at doing that, and then see where it goes. But maybe he doesn't want to come and fight his way onto a roster or anything like that. So I think it's all right. This way, I think you added a little bit more defense with Toscano-Anderson. I think people will love him. With that, everybody in the chat's asking about Kyrie to the Lakers. I mean, maybe it's
it sounds like he's pushing hard for that to happen. The Lakers want it to happen. The question is, can they figure out a way to get the Nets something that they want.
Yeah, and let's be very clear now too. Russell Westbrook we're running out of dumping grounds for him now. Orlando used up all of their stuff. Detroit's used up all of their cap space. You're really down to Indiana and San Antonio, and I don't know that that's the direction either one of them want to go.
Yeah.
Maybe the Nets are more open to it now because they're kind of pivoting in maybe a different direction a little bit. So maybe if the Lakers really say, hey, we can do that. Maybe if the Lakers, went to the Pelicans and said, hey, somehow we got to pay you to free us up to be able to trade 3 picks. And they said, hey, we're going to go with, picks. Cause it's not just going to be Russ for Kyrie, obviously, right?
No.
It's going to have to, they're going to have to pay the Nets to do that,
right?
Because Kyrie's just the far better player at this point, but we'll see. I mean, yeah, the Hornets stuff, I see people in the chat throwing that out there. I think that ship has kind of sailed. I don't think that's it. And I don't know that Brooklyn really wants to do that. I don't know why the Hornets want to do that. They're trying to be good and compete. So I'm not sure why they would want to pivot that direction.
The incentive for the Hornets was so they would feel better paying Miles Bridges. Correct. I don't know if that's going to happen now.
Yeah, we'll get into when we get into the guys who are still left.
Yeah.
On the market. We'll definitely get into that discussion a little bit there.
Jorge Sandoval super chat. I don't want to go too far into it, but just saying start Nunn, Reeves, LBJ, AD, Jones, bench these guys. We will get all in depth into the Lakers stuff on the Lakers Nation live show. In just a little bit. We're going to do that at 9:00 Pacific time. But
I said he finished though with
F them picks
in my head. Yeah, F them picks. Yeah, I mean,
it sounded better in my head. Yeah,
right. Like,
yes.
What do you need the picks for? Like, you're the Lakers. You're trying to win a championship, but you still have LeBron. Like, go. But yeah.
Okay. Let's get over to. But I was so happy to see Memphis retain Tyus Jones. It's a great fit there. He got paid, gets $30 million over 2 years. I thought it was a good value and pretty much what we predicted too, relative to what Jalen Brunson wound up getting from the Knicks. So, I mean, I think
scroll that up a little bit too, so we can get into the next group. But I think it's great. We're with you. I think this is fantastic for Tyus Jones and for the Grizzlies. I think they both did quite well with this.
All right. So for as much as we heard about Victor Oladipo and every other landing spot, are you surprised that he wound up back with Miami on an $11 million deal?
No, not at all. I mean, they paid him to rehab last year when they didn't have to. And they did that so that if he did get back, they'd have his bird rights and they'd be able to sign him. So, there we go. Andre Drummond's deal, 2 years, $6.6 million with the Bulls.
So is that a biannual?
No, they don't have that because they used it on Tristan Thompson last year.
Oh, that's right.
It's going to come out of the tax. I don't know. I'd have to look at what it's probably going to come out of the taxpayer.
Okay.
Well, taxpayer, non-taxpayer. Let's see. What teams can do, just a little education piece. You can leave it flexible, and then you can see where you go when you do your other moves. So if they need it to be the non-taxpayer after they do Zach LaVine, they'll do it that way.
Yeah. Okay. Dwayne Dedmon sticks around in Miami as well.
Yeah, I don't like this one.
Yeah, I mean,
that's too much.
He's the money. Guy. It's not the addition. It's the money, the amount that you paid him.
Now, what I will say is this is a James Lopez asks after the Marvel episode, can we do a Star Wars one? Yeah, I don't know if Trevor's is into Star Wars.
I'm not as well versed, but I could probably get through it. I still have to finish Obi-Wan. But
maybe we'll do a Trevor watches Star Wars and then we'll talk about it.
Trevor reacts.
Yeah. These are our August shows, guys.
Yes.
We'll come back
that's
we get more than enough to talk about. We're not going to get sidetracked with Marvel stuff today. Dedmon, I wonder if this is, let's pile up a mid-range contract to throw in a trade later. Right, not the worst idea.
Right, good point. Bobby Portis back to Milwaukee, shocking everyone.
Yeah,
no, everyone had this pegged from the get-go. $12.25 million. I mean, average valuation there. $49
this
million.
This is the max he could get using his early bird rights.
And this is the guy that that makes sense. So, and he started in place of Brook Lopez for quite a while. Wound up being he fits perfect. They love him there. This is a no-brainer. You do this and you move on. And 27 years old, great. Great move for Bobby Portis. Great move for the Bucks. I dig it.
Yep. Agreed.
Joe Ingles, surprise here.
Yeah.
We had heard a lot of other landing spots.
And you saw who broke it, right?
I did not.
His wife.
Really? I
Yeah, his
didn't see
wife
that.
was the first one who tweeted it,
Oh,
which I thought was pretty funny.
that's cool. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. So going to Milwaukee, what do you think? I mean, coming off the injury, gets the taxpayer MLE. I like the fit if he's healthy. If he's healthy, I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm assuming the Bucks have to have a decent amount of confidence that he will indeed be healthy and be able to play that role for them. Protects against, I guess, a little bit against like a Chris Middleton injury again, by giving you another wing that can kind of do some things there. Not that he's here, we're going to give you the ball in the fourth quarter kind of scorer like Middleton can be, but just another guy who can just fit in there on the wing for you. I like it. I like it for the Bucks.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is one where they've got the depth so they can be patient and just let him rehab. He's probably not going to be ready to play till sometime in January, maybe February. But by the time he's ready, off you go. I want to go back to somebody said in the chat, just on Miami, Ryan Spaverio says Depot returning combined with Hero not getting an extension seems to just suggest something. Extensions can't be done until 12:01 tonight. The 6 p.m. Eastern time is for new free agent agreements. Extensions can't be done until the league year flips over. Rookie scale extensions, big extensions. I know the Jokic one got out there, but that's a slightly different thing, as well as who is the other one that was reported on the big extension?
Oh,
I'll get to it. Devin Booker.
Those
are different things because those are veteran extensions, but the rookie scale extensions have to wait until after 12:01, and nobody wants to get in trouble for an extension early. So you'll start seeing those probably within the next hour or so. I'm not saying Hero's getting one right away, but I wouldn't necessarily
just saying
to.
You're just saying it doesn't mean that there's something afoot here because it hasn't been announced yet. Javon Carter, Wesley Matthews, back to Milwaukee.
Yep.
Great.
Minimums for both.
Minimum deals. Cool. No problems there. Kyle Anderson.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
A little bit of a surprise.
Yeah. A little bit of a surprise here. Getting 18 million over 2 years.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts on this deal making the jump from Memphis? Do you like this for Minnesota? We had heard Minnesota was targeting a big. Obviously, that didn't happen. I mean, still moves can be made. There's still bigs out there on the market, but picking up Kyle Anderson slow-mo, I like him, but I thought he fit so well in Memphis. I'm curious to see how it works in Minnesota.
Yeah, I think this is Minnesota. This is a really maybe comes off sounding worse than I intended. But Minnesota's trying to grow up, and this is a grown-up signing, right? They're
I like
trying
that.
they're just trying to make sure, like, hey, we keep things moving, and we're gonna keep going with this. So yeah, I think this is a big time addition for the Wolves. Good depth piece. I can also maybe start if they need them to in some lineups because you can play both the 3 and the 4. They're building a little bit more versatility into their front court, which is good with this addition with Anderson. And I think we'll go. Chris.
We do read the comments.
We do read the comments in the free ones. We just read a couple. I don't like when the same thing is spammed 900 times. That's ridiculous. And grow up and grow up like the Wolves. Right?
I have a little feature on here that where I can put people in timeout.
Oh, there it is. Put them in timeout.
I'm back to my teacher days.
Teacher days. That's it.
Yeah.
Put them in timeout. Make them. Then they have to write an essay and tell us, and then we'll come back from there.
That's right.
We got a super chat. Could Mavs swing a sign and trade for Brunson? We're gonna get to Brunson.
Let's get to him in just a minute.
Bernie. Hold on. Let's finish up on Kyle Anderson, and Brunson will be next. We promise. That I love this signing though for them. And you hurt a direct competitor, right? By taking Anderson away from the Grizzlies. Even if the Grizzlies, they drafted a bunch of forwards, they've got good forward depth. They were ready to move along. But I think this is a really good signing for the Wolves.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to the big one, Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson.
What a shocker!
This
came out of nowhere. No one had heard this.
Does the NBA look at this? This was announced, done, out an hour before the buzzer. Like, and I don't want to be the tampering police or anything. I'm in line with you, Keith. I think they should just forget all of it and not even worry about it, because obviously it's going to happen. When, well, I mean, Shams had what, like 10 signings sitting
Yeah.
in his queue, ready to go the second the buzzer sounded. But
Can I say something on that, which was
yeah,
funny? Dude, order the drafts to come out a little bit different. Like you fired out of the gate with like Malik Monk and DeAndre Jordan. Like, come on. Then you had a couple other big dogs sitting there. Like, come out with those ones and then come back with the smaller ones.
I don't
No,
think
no, it
Shams
was
thinks
funny.
about. I think the only
No,
thing going
yeah.
through Shams' head, it's not like
Yeah.
order of importance or anything.
No,
It's
no. It
got to
was
beat
just
Woj, got to beat
yep.
Woj,
Oh
got to
yeah.
beat Woj.
Bing, 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 bing.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's it.
Tatum for KD? No, absolutely not. No,
Um,
no.
okay,
No, he's but that's a whole I don't want to play a bunch of stuff.
that's a different rabbit hole.
The Lakers do have a TPE from Gasol, but it's very
They do.
small. It's
It's
only
like
a couple million
it's
dollars.
2 million to change.
Yeah. All right, Jalen Brunson. The question that we're asked in the super chat by Bernie was, could the Mavs swing a sign and trade for Brunson? They can, and I do expect that they will do that. I think
Yep.
they will pay the Knicks, much like the Celtics did in the Evan Fournier, to do it. Here's the key, though. Let's say Brunson's first year salary.
It's a base year, isn't it?
What's that?
It's a base year, isn't it?
Yep, you got it, man. Base year.
Okay.
Yeah, you're all over it. Yeah. So what they're gonna, let's say his first year salary, let's just say it's 26 million, just for the sake of ease. It's only going to create a $13 million trade exception because of the base year compensation, but that's still fine. It's better than nothing. So I do think they'll throw a second round pick to the Knicks to make that a sign and trade, because you're already losing them. Might as well get something out of it, right? And create a trade exception. We've already talked Brunson's fit with
we don't have to go.
So we don't need to spend a bunch of time on it. But I don't hate this contract. Coming in at 104, I like better than 110, obviously. And then let's see what it looks like. It sounds like there's a player option on the end, but the Knicks have been really big on doing the descending contracts recently too. So they may have set it up that way. So we'll see how they set this up. I'm going to guess this doesn't come out looking as unfavorable to some as it does to the Knicks.
Right.
And then Trevor knows his stuff. Come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, to be like, everybody knows this. I don't know the cap to the degree Keith does. I could tell at one point from your tweets that you were like fully in the cap matrix at one point, like as the free agent deals were coming out. I was like, oh, Keith is lost in the week, but no, I can typically hold my own with cap stuff and all of that. Just
you're good. You're good.
I'm not on Keith's level with the cap stuff, but
well, that's just because you spent your life better than I have. So yeah. Isaiah Hartenstein.
Shocker.
It's shocker, but outstanding. This is a great pickup. They're going to lose Nerlens Noel. Now you've got Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson together. You got 48 good minutes of center minutes there. Like you're set. You're good.
So you're thinking they still bring back Mitchell Robinson. You've got Hartenstein. I mean, we heard Hartenstein to Orlando, and suddenly the Knicks come in and grab him. I like it for the Knicks. I think they're great at the center position now. I don't know if it was the biggest surprise of the day, but it was certainly up there. It was definitely one of the biggest. I mean, players signing surprises, right? I mean, the KD request, that was like out of nowhere. Whoa, what happened? You know, that type of thing. But this was maybe the most surprising signing that we saw of the day, or one of the most surprising anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I said this the other day when we heard the news on the John Wall to the Clippers. I would have rather the Clippers gave their taxpayer MLE to keep Hartenstein. They didn't have any kind of rights on Hartenstein, and they're way over the cap. So that's the only way they could have kept them. And I don't even know that would have been enough, right? Because clearly you got something that's going to average $8 million a year. So this is an outstanding get. This guy, if you don't know, was one of the best defensive centers in the entire NBA. So it's this is a really good signing for the Knicks.
K Will with a super chat said, do you believe the KD trade request is a ploy to get Kyrie a max contract? Timing the request was to put them against the clock. No, because Kyrie already picked up his option.
Yeah, he already picked up his option, so I don't think it's there. So
no, can they take him and extend him off of the The
Yeah, I
option that he
mean, they
picked
can
up?
still extend him. Yeah, you can always extend. I'd have to run the exact numbers off the new cap figures. I'm not there into next year yet,
Yeah.
but he might have to give up a little bit of money if he did it because extensions are limited to a 20% bump.
Yeah.
But with that, so yeah, happy Canada Day. Oh, that's cool. Happy
Yeah.
Canada Day.
Cool.
I didn't,
Happy
I didn't
Canada.
know that
And
was a thing.
happy. My ancestors are Canadian, I will say.
Oh,
So
look at that. So
yeah,
happy Canada Day.
look at that.
We'll go through, guys. We're gonna go through the who's left out there in a couple minutes.
Yep.
And Mr. Easley, we'll get into your question.
Who is not?
What
Yes, we'll finish up. We'll get to that in
Yeah.
just a
That's gonna be
moment.
how we end. Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
So
yeah.
you want to talk Lou Dort?
yeah. This one was a little
Get
surprise, right?
paid.
Yeah.
Get
I
paid,
mean,
Lou.
I'm thrilled for Lou Dort because
Mhm.
he was one of the first two-way guys to really pop and get moved over to a standard contract. And I think when it happened, none of us really kind of knew how to handle it. And I don't think front offices did yet either. And Lou Dort kind of get screwed. He was on a really ridiculously from team friendly contract for the Thunder. So I'm very happy to see him get paid here. And the Thunder, I think maybe is this a slight overpay? Yeah, probably. I thought he'd get something in the 15 million range,
Yeah.
but I think what the Thunder are doing is they're going to build in a ton of flexibility, and I think what they're doing is giving themselves one of those mid-range contracts that then they can put into a trade, maybe with some picks, and go get a guy or something like that. So but overall, I'm thrilled for Lou Dort, to get his money. This is great.
I was surprised at the total amount here for him.
Yeah,
but great for him.
5 years too. That's like cool, boy.
I mean, wings in this league are getting paid, man. They're getting paid.
Yep.
Another shocker though, Mo Bamba.
Yeah,
Back to
time.
Orlando. Thought Orlando was done. Said no Mo Bamba, but
no Mo Bamba. Yep.
But apparently that's not the case. How do you think this went down? Was this Hartenstein went to the Knicks and then the Magic said, okay, Mo Bamba? Or do you think Hartenstein went to the Knicks because the Magic were going with Mo Bamba? Or was that not a factor at all?
Yeah, I think it might have been a little bit of both. I think there was a sense that the Knicks were going to, or the Magic rather, were planning to maybe make a real run on Hartenstein. And then I think the number just got a little bit bigger than they were probably comfortable with. They probably looked at it and said, we already have 4 years invested in Mo Bamba. He does fit, in good with Wendell Carter. He's played good with him. We'll run a 3 big rotation of the 2 of them and Paolo Banchero, and off we go. And that's our three big rotation. Mix some Jonathan Isaac in there, maybe a little bit of Mo Wagner on occasion. And I think Orlando's basically saying, yeah, we're at a point where we can just keep these guys on good deals, and then we'll sort it all out in the next couple seasons.
Now, who do you like? Hartenstein got significantly less than Mo Bamba.
Well, $5 million total.
Well, I mean, that's when you're talking about a $20 million deal, though.
Yeah.
That's
and on only a 2-year deal too.
You're talking about 25% of the contract.
Yep.
Which one would you rather have? Contract included.
Hartenstein.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He's a much better defensive player. It's funny. Somebody said, "Why don't I like Mo Bamba?" in the chat. It's not that I don't like Mo Bamba. That's not the case at all. I do like Mo Bamba. I'm just not a huge fan of guys who don't do a whole lot in their first 3 years and then pop in their 4th year. Like that leaves me feeling a little bit cold and a little wondering where it is. Gary Harris, good call out. He's not on this list because Gary Harris's contract, Trevor, let's do a little educational moment.
Yeah, let's get into that.
So Gary Harris actually signed an extension. This is the weird kind of confluence of starting free agency while you're still in the current league year. So Gary Harris's deal, 2 years, $26 million. We don't know the exact structure yet. But when we get that, what we'll find out is it's actually an extension, and the Magic have already announced this contract that Gary Harris was signed. So what's going to happen with Gary Harris in this situation is they are going to be able to trade him if they want to right away, because he didn't trip any of the extended trade figures in his extension. His extension wasn't big enough. And if they just re-signed him, they would have to wait till December 15th, or wouldn't have probably been a big enough contract, but or January 15th. in this case, you avoid that full restriction. I don't think they're going to trade him. The Magic like him quite a bit. They liked his work with a very young guard group on a very young roster overall, but they have that ability now. So I think this is just retaining a player that they liked, kind of rediscovered his game quite a bit here in Orlando. What kind of overlooked because the Magic weren't very good, but yeah, this was a really smart decision by Orlando to give themselves that flexibility.
Yeah, and it gives you a trade chip moving forward as well. So,
yep.
Really quick, the super chat here, Chris. Sorry, said, hey, Trevor and Keith, sorry for the LA spam, but does this make sense? Not sure of the step in rule. Lakers get Kyrie healed. Gary Trent, I don't know. I haven't even seen what's going out, but you've got to be sending a lot to get all that. Nets get Westbrook, 2027 first, 2028 swap from LA. Pacers get Harris, 2029 swap. Raptors get none. THT 2 seconds. I mean, I think the basis of it, could you, if you're the Lakers, trade your 2027 first to 2028 swap and 2029 first? Yeah, you could. You could could do that. I don't think the Lakers are getting all those pieces for what they have to offer, but
yeah, I'm a little confused. Like I don't even know who. Oh, is that Joe Harris? I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's gonna be Harris. Joe Harris.
Kendrick Nunn to the. I mean, I don't understand why the Raptors are even here. The Raptors aren't getting anything, but giving up Gary Trent Jr. Like 2 seconds, THT and Nunn. That's not enough for Trent. I think you got to do your values, but it does. The pick part of it is legal.
Right. Correct. Okay. PJ Tucker, the worst kept secret to Philly. 3-year deal. Now we've talked about this though, about is the third year fully guaranteed? I haven't seen anything for sure on that. Nothing specific, but that's the sense is probably this will be a partial.
Oh, it's fully guaranteed. It
is.
Yeah, there's been a lot of reporting that it's going to be fully guaranteed.
Oh my.
Yeah, that part's a little questionable.
So he's going to be
40-year-old PJ Tucker. Yeah, that part's a little messy. Did get the full non-taxpayer MLE too in this deal. So yeah, but yep, fully guaranteed.
I did not know that. Okay, and he kind of set the market for the wings in the NBA with this deal.
Sure. Yep.
A little bit. I mean, who would have thought PJ Tucker would be the guy establishing the wing market in free agency at 37 years old?
Yeah, I mean, this is. It's funny. The 3 guys Philly signed are 3 Houston players because Daniel House got the biannual exception for 2 years from Philly. So he's joining up too. And then Trevelyan Queen, this one was a little weird. This is a
former
2-year
Laker
minimum deal. He's kind of bounced around. He was on a 2A last year for a little bit with the Rockets, elevated to the main roster. But it's, I mean, a little bit older too. It's not much of a prospect at this point. So that one I guess I didn't fully understand that one, but yeah, it's I think I mean, you're better with Tucker and House. You fleshed out your depth a little bit more. What's really interesting here is James Harden, who opted out of 47 something million in order to keep Philly under the hard cap without them shedding any more money. He can only sign for 38 million. So Harden put his money where his mouth was. He did. Apparently said, "I'll give up some money to improve our depth and make us better." And it looks like he did because I don't know where they're going to get off more money very easily.
Yeah. Yep. Then we've got Anthony Simons gets a new deal with the Blazers, $100 million, 4 years.
Nice round, $100 million.
Yeah, I mean it's in line with what we saw Jalen Brunson get. You've got a lot of upside here with Simons, just 23 years old.
Yep.
I don't
really shoot.
Yeah. I don't hate this.
No, I don't hate it either. I mean, your defense is going to be horrendous with him and Lillard together.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But it's, sometimes the best defense is to outscore the other team. And that's probably where Houston's headed with this. And they'll let the bigs and the wings worry about defending. But yeah, I like this deal quite a bit. And this gives you a little bit of cover if you decide, hey, we're going to move on from Dame down the line. I don't think this is 25 million per. Don't get hung up on the 100 part. The 25 million per for a good young guard. That's good. So
yep.
Then Malik Monk to the Sacramento Kings for the bulk of the non-taxpayer MLE. My guess is they're carving out a little bit of the non-taxpayer MLE to sign Sasha Vezenkov, who they acquired his draft rights from the Cavs when they
Right.
sold a pick to the Cavs at the draft. So that's where I think that rest of that will go to, is to get him signed for the Kings. But yeah, I mean, Malik Monk, career rebirth, got his career back on track. Shot the heck out of the ball for the Lakers. So do really the same for the Kings. Yeah, obviously now the Kings are going to move on from Dante DiVincenzo. They didn't give him a qualifying offer, so let him go with that. So yeah, I like the signing for the Kings.
And Monk spoke a lot about how badly he wanted to come back to the Lakers, but
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, I mean, the Lakers,
Yeah,
most they
just
could
get a lot
offer
more
him.
money.
Yeah, I mean, it would be 2 years, what, 13 million or so
Mm-hmm.
would be their best offer. I mean, that's just
Yep.
for a guy like Malik Monk who played for 1 million, like 1.7 or something like that last season.
Yep.
You're not turning down that money.
And a couple seasons before, forfeited a lot of money when he was suspended on his rookie deal. That was a drug suspension that he lost a ton of money on. So, it is, this is, good chance for him to get paid after getting his life and his career on track. This is great. Could be happier for him.
And still a young player at 24 years old. So some upside there as well.
Yeah, and we'll see if there's an option on the second year, but even if not, yeah, he pops back on the market in a couple years, to be ready to go. I want to go back to something on Lonnie Walker too. I meant to say there was something. It's probably going to go overlooked a little bit, but the Spurs pulled his qualifying offer earlier today. And this is something the Spurs have done a handful of times over the years with various guys. They did this with Jonathan Simmons back in the day when he really wanted
blast from the past.
Yeah, to sign with Orlando. Remember too, they bought out LaMarcus Aldridge when it really wasn't any advantage for them to do that. And they still did that. The Spurs take care of their own. Even when they're ready, they're ready to move those guys, let those guys move on. And had they kept the qualifying offer on Lonnie Walker, teams might have stayed away and said, we'll go somewhere else, because you just don't want to get messed up early in free agency with a guy who's a restricted free agent, because you could have made it real messy for him. But this is the Spurs saying, hey, we appreciate what you did, but we're going to let you go and let you move on. And you got to appreciate that, from an organization.
For sure. That kind of stuff can come back. There's basketball karma and all that kind of stuff, but also just building relationships around the NBA. So fostering that goodwill can be a positive thing for you down the road.
Yep. All right. I'm going to switch. Do you want to, let's pull this down, because I don't like the way this orders the players. So
yeah, no problem.
So I'm going to go to my rankings of the best guys available.
Okay.
I'm here. No one will be able to see this. I apologize. So you just have to hang with us. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So James Harden and Zach LaVine top the list. We pretty much know what's going on there. Harden's definitely going back to Philly. We'll see with Zach LaVine. There was a report, I guess Sham said on his show, that they would talk about that later. That he was going to talk this weekend. That they'll go. So yeah, I think that is a little weird. That seems a little bit odd to me.
Maybe he's busy. He's on vacation or something. Like, you know what you're getting. So
I don't know. Yeah. Here's the thing too. Yeah, I don't care if I'm on vacation, man. You give me a $200 million offer, I'll make time to come find you.
Oh yeah, that's true. Hey, there's DocuSign. That's a thing.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, that's a thing now. Cade Forever asks, so Mavericks decided to give 3 years for $20 million to McGee. Good for him. What exactly is the long-term play here for Doncic? Do you guys have any idea? Yeah, I don't know. Weird. It's definitely a weird. It's a weird signing, especially he was talked about, like he said to Tim McMahon, I believe, like, I think I can start in Dallas, or I'm expecting to be the starter. That's odd. So I guess they're just going to play Christian Wood at the 4.
That's what it sounds like. I mean, but then what do you like? McGee's kind of the lob threat, but then what do you do with Dwight Powell? And
it's a little weird. Yeah. And my guess is there's going to be some trade coming from the Mavericks down the line. I don't hate the number for McGee. He was really, really good for the Suns. last year.
He's part of the reason why they weren't that enamored with Ayton, because they were like, "Hey, look at this production we're getting from the guy off the bench. Maybe it really is just
Exactly.
Chris Paul,
Yeah.
right?"
Well, and then they plugged in Bismack Biyombo, and it
Yeah, that
continued
too.
even further too.
Yep.
So yeah, I think yeah. So Kate, I don't know. Let's see. Let's give the Mavs another week or so and see what they do trade wise and all that stuff.
Yep.
But all right. So continuing on with free agents who are available. Next we get into the restricted guys. DeAndre Ayton. I'm gonna spend a lot of time. We all kind of know. We're just wait and see
We're
mode.
waiting to see
Who
where he
wants
gets
him?
traded.
Yeah. Then Miles Bridges. So if you haven't heard, Miles Bridges has not had the best week here. He was multiple times on social media, questionable posts that he was in or made himself. And then just last night, which would have been on Wednesday night, he was arrested after turning himself in. He was arrested on domestic violence charges. So not good for him. Excuse me. I couldn't get it muted in time. So we don't know where this is going to go. The Hornets put out a statement that basically said, we don't have anything to say, which is Andrew Brandt. He's an NFL guy, but he always says, translation, we're pissed. And I think they absolutely are. I think had all that not happened, we would have got a Miles Bridges near max tweet today. And now let's see what happens. I think if nothing else, the Hornets know it would have been a very bad look to do that today. So we'll see where that goes.
Agreed. Yep. Yeah. That changed a lot, I think, for the Hornets offseason, and we'll see what happens from there.
Yep. And I think you've chased any other teams off of like really going after him.
Sure.
So. Yep.
Who else is out there?
All right, let's move on to more fun topics. Yusuf Nurkic, still out there, one of the top centers left on the market, probably the best one behind DeAndre.
Portland. All the rumors have put him back to Portland, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. We'll see. Colin Sexton still out there, but restricted guys always markets a little slower to move unless they're immediately re-signing with their own team, which we did see a couple of those today, right? We saw that with Bagley and who else am I thinking about that did that? Nicholas Claxton, Jayshawn Tate, guys like that. Then TJ Warren still out there. Probably a MLE target, tax MLE for several teams looking for scoring from a forward there. Bruce Brown still out there. That one's a little interesting. With the Nets doing some other stuff. Maybe Brown's looking at it and saying, I don't know. If KD and Kyrie are gone, maybe I don't want to be here. Maybe I want to go somewhere else. Kevon Looney, Otto Porter, Warriors champion guys are still out there. Looney, I'm guessing just the Warriors are maybe they're all still partying after winning the finals, but they'll get that one done. Porter, we'll see. My guess, I still tend to think he's probably going to get priced out of Golden State, but we'll see. Mitchell Robinson, very expected to re-sign with the Knicks. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was going to say Otto Porter Jr., with the prices that Wings have been getting, he's getting a full mid-level from somebody, right?
Yeah, he got to be. Yeah, at least the taxpayer mid-level. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah, easy.
Yeah. All these guys that we've mentioned here, they probably all are in line for the taxpayer, if not, more from somebody. So Mitchell Robinson, the best assumption is he's headed back to the Knicks. Montrezl Harrell, we'll see what happens.
He got in a little bit of trouble himself.
A little bit of trouble. What's going on in Charlotte, man? Come on, guys, be smarter. You're about to be free agents and make major money. Andre Drummond, will take him off the board now. I hadn't yet. He's gone to the Bulls. Dante DiVincenzo did not get a qualifying offer from the Kings, so free agent. If someone's looking for a shooter, why not? Right, that's a good get there. Gary Payton II probably headed back to the Warriors. We'll see. Then two of my favorite free agents, Caleb and Cody Martin, both restricted players. We'll see if anybody tries to make their teams pay more than they want to. If that gives you any sense, it's starting to get a little dry. But then Ricky Rubio, much like Joe Ingles, probably worth your taxpayer MLE, and then you just got to give them time to rehab. And then we're getting down into it. Frank Jackson, Dennis Schroeder, Goran Dragic, Robin Lopez, Carmelo Anthony, Jalen Smith. There's a bunch of other names out there. Danilo Gallinari, believe the Spurs, after the trade with the Hawks, are going to waive him, and then we'll see where that goes. But all around, I think the there's still some pretty good values to be found out there.
Sure.
And now I think we're headed full on into major trade.
Yeah.
Stuff here because we're going to obviously get something with KD. Probably my guess is, I'll say by the time we record tomorrow's show, we've got a KD trade agreed to.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think
it's going to move that fast.
Yeah, I think teams are going to want to move. I don't think anyone's going to want to keep holding.
Okay.
On that one.
All right.
Do you want to cover just real quick a couple of big extensions that rolled out? Nikola Jokic, 5 years, $269.99 million. So
worth it.
In his last year. Hey, if that's what it is, that's what it is. And then Devin Booker is gonna extend and get he's gonna add 4 years onto his contract at $213.7 million. So again, both worth it. Both like good deals.
Keith, do you think we're going to be staring down a situation where, because we've talked all about the summer of the trade and how many deals are going to be struck and all that, do you think we're going to get KD kind of blocking all of that, like a la Kawhi Leonard years ago in free agency?
I think so. I think there's going to be a little bit of that. Yeah. I think most of what we saw today was not. There was no dependency on KD for this stuff to happen. So this was a very easy one to let's get guys moving here in this. And I think what we'll see now is, I think it's been. I mean, we got Andre Drummond when we mid-recording, but that was it. We didn't get anything else. We didn't get to play the breaking news drop or we have a trade drop.
Woj might be asleep. We don't know.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, everybody
does he sleep?
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, you plug them in for a little bit, I think, and then let them charge up. So yeah, I think it's we'll find out, right? I think I think things are gonna hold just a little bit. It'll stay a little quiet, and then we'll see it kind of pop from there. Toronto, Washington, we didn't do. We must have skipped them. I apologize. That's a really good call. So Toronto re-signed Chris Boucher and Thad Young.
Yeah.
Two couple good value deals, I think. I thought those were pretty good. Andrew, I apologize. Thanks for reminding us. I liked both of those signings for them. And then Washington got DeLon Wright, which I think is a pretty good addition for them. Another point guard. So he'll pair with Monty Morris, and I think their point guard position is covered now.
Yep. Yeah, they're pretty well set.
Yep. Utah waived Juancho Hernan-Gomez today. So
somebody's gonna want Bo Cruz.
Yep.
Bo Cruz. Like I said, he needs to just change his name to Bo Cruz.
It'd be funny if he did that. Right?
Should. Why not? NGM, how much money can Gallinari get in the open market? Would he sign for the veteran minimum? I mean, we heard earlier in the day that he was looking for like mid-level exception money. Yep. I don't know if he gets that. We'll see. Maybe.
Yeah. Gary Payton II is still available. I think for Gallo, this is a really good question. I think it's I think the Bulls purposely left a chunk of their non-tax mid-level open for him, is what it looks like off of the Drummond numbers. So that's been a place he's been looking to go. It sounds like he was maybe trying to drive a little bit of a bidding war between Chicago and Boston, but Boston can't pay him more than the taxpayer mid-level. So, who knows? Yuta Watanabe, he's available. He's out there. So, we'll see. He'll land somewhere.
People asking, is there a Lakers Nation live show tonight? Yeah, it's in just under an hour.
Yeah, so, Trevor's going to get right back to work.
That's right. No, we did when the KD news broke. We did a live show then, middle of the day, an impromptu one. So it's been a busy day. Yeah. It's been a busy day, but we expect this today. So
by the end of the week, we're both going to sound like we've had probably like a 35-year smoking habit with no voices left and just a mess. So yeah, it'll be fun. But yeah, guys, it's day one of free agency. It's been a blast. A lot of stuff I went down today, but a lot of big stuff still to come. We'll be back live at some point tomorrow night. With that, and we'll get into all that stuff. We'll go from there. There was what was I going to say? There was one other thing, and I forgot what it was. Now I don't remember. Oh well.
We'll add it tomorrow.
Yep, we'll figure it out tomorrow. It'll come to me by it's the minute we stop recording and get off the live show here.
It's been a long.
I know what it was.
What?
I have a piece up on Spot Track all about rookie scale extensions. If you want to read those, I projected those. Trevor knows this. I hit on 5 of them last year. Almost perfect, spot on numbers. So this is probably one of the things I'm better at is projecting rookie scale extensions. So let's see how I do this year, because those should start trickling in here within the next hour or so.
It's been one of those days where this morning doesn't feel like this morning.
No.
You know, it feels like it was like several days ago. So that's but gosh, it's been a fun day. I love this. This is great.
It's been great.
Again, just to bookend it, NBA offseason, greater than sign, all other off seasons.
Greater.
Yes, this has been absolutely fantastic. All right, everybody. We will have the Lakers Nation live show. I'm going to recharge for 50 minutes here or whatever. And then we'll get that one going over the Lakers Nation YouTube channel. In case you're here to listen to Laker stuff, we'll be solely Lakers over there in about 50 minutes. So come join us for that. And I'll have some of the Lakers Nation crew with me. But thank you guys for joining us here on the NBA Front Office Show. Make sure you do subscribe, turn on those notifications. We'll be back doing this again tomorrow night, breaking down any other craziness that happens. Keith says it's going to be a KD trade. Let's see. Hopefully it happens. All right, everybody. Till then, see ya and stay safe.